Hello, Wake Up New Zealand, Sakey speaking. I'd like to talk to you today about climate change that has become the new green religion, man-made global warming. It's a scam. It's not about climate change, it's about global politicalism, about control of the world by the UN, one world government. It's about making the elitist, globalists, banks all rich, about robbing the working man's pocket. The New Green Deal is about a religion, a cult that prays to Earth and not the Creator. They're pagans by their beliefs and their actions. Carbon dioxide is a naturally occurring gas. I mean, we were taught that in school. Every living thing, every living plant, human nature survives on carbon dioxide. Plants, trees, insects, human beings need it to survive. Otherwise, we all die. This we hear about the polar bear and the ice, etc. Hey people, the ice is growing, and so are the polar bear population. So what is the IPCC-UN up to? What's their real agenda? I think they're busy distributing the world's wealth and depopulating the world. So what's the consequence for us in New Zealand, you may ask? Well, after all, global warming is a scam. No matter what people say, I will not go beyond believing that global warming is a scam. Contrary to widespread beliefs, climatic changes have not happened because of man, woman or child. The UN, its global activists, New Zealand Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister still use their carbon emissions to flit around the world, and Al Gore to get in his private jet, the UN globalists to move round the world to preach their climate change religion's beliefs to rob your pockets, and they still use up carbon emissions, so how can that be true? They said that New York would be underwater because of rising seas in 2015. Hey, what? New York still exists and it's not under bloody water, is it? So, real scientists are actually being persecuted for actually telling the truth. And those scientists, those climatic scientists that lie, get rewarded. NASA, a couple of NASA retirees have actually come out publicly and said that NASA actually interfered with climate change data to accommodate global warming for the UN purpose. So, emergency climate change that you hear about lately is all about fear tactics. Pay up now, do something now. More people are actually coming on board and realising now that this is a global scam, and they want to stop the millions and millions of people believing it is a scam. So they bring in this emergency climate change so they can make it happen immediately. The world has fallen victim to climate change, man-made climate change propaganda. UN have funded this global propaganda. In New Zealand, we have a UN portal, an educational portal, where we teach our children from a very young age. The education department teach our children from a very young age, brainwash them into man-made climate change. So by the time they reach senior school, they are well adopted, well brainwashed into believing that it must be man-made climate change, and there's no changing their minds. So on top of that, I mean, this is nightmarish stuff for vulnerable young minds. And then you've got added into the education system transgender teaching, which is going to cause confusion, especially when hormonal changes take place. There will be anger, frustration, mental health problems. So if you add that to the climate change, you can see suicides really doubling, more than doubling in the next few years. It will bring about huge mental health problems, and hence mental health problems bring on physical problems, bring on medical problems. Have you noticed the latest TV programs that promote eating insects instead of meat? It's ludicrous. Do away with the small town farmer, bring in large organisations that produce genetically modified food. Put people in pack and stack apartments, confined pack and stack apartments, heaps of them, so that the government can control water and power, can control your life, control what you eat, control the energy you use, and limit the water you use. It's all power and control, and do away with private property. They teach kids in school that storms, floods, droughts are all about man-made climate change. Tell your kids in biblical times they had floods, they had droughts, they had swarms of locusts, they had storms, they had it all. There was no carbon emissions from cars, there were no cows' farts. For goodness sake, the world has been naturally changing for 4.5 billion years. The climate has been naturally changing. So, we actually, we actually are buying into this shit. I'm not buying into it, but thousands, millions, trillions of people around the world are buying into this carbon change, this carbon emission, climate change scam. I cannot believe how people can be so damn stupid. Such intelligent people lacking smarts. So, teach kids, yeah. So, emissions, in the 1930s, it was hotter than now. But you know what? Scientists have even removed information regarding the medieval warming period. Can't have that. It would prove man-made climate change a scam. We can't have that. Depopulate the cows, depopulate the humans, all in aid of man-made climate change. After we take a breath, we pull into our lungs, mostly nitrogen and oxygen, we exhale out breath, which is mostly carbon dioxide. So I suppose, like the cows, as stock, we've all got to be depopulated. We can't have humans breathing out carbon dioxide, can we? It's called population control. Depopulation. We are, as New Zealanders, stock. New Zealand stock owned by the United Nations. And our government are the UN puppets that make it so. And the world's masses do not question it. We are like cows to the slaughter. Al Gore is netting trillions. The UN are netting trillions. The banks are netting billions upon trillions of dollars, all because of climate change being a scam, as being called man-made. So If you believe in climate change, and you're a climate change activist, a globalist, then you are an accomplice to mass murder, UN's depopulation of the masses around the world. You're guilty of children's nightmares, accomplices of the UN globalist scammers that rob every working man and woman's pockets. You are an accomplice to New Zealand becoming a third world country of economic collapse. The collapse will happen. Depopulation will happen. And the man-made climate change scam is the glue that will make it happen. The New Green Deal, emergency climate change, are about the words that will kill us with kindness, with promises of hearts and flowers, a beautiful utopia. If you are a climate change activist, globalist, you promote economic collapse in New Zealand. You promote snuff out life on request. You promote nightmares of the vulnerable. You are guilty. Guilty as charged, and bloody shame on you.